Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Tonight we have the long lost haul part 2. I actually did a long lost haul video over probably about a year ago, I would guess, where my brother Rich Mitch sent me a haul that had been brewing for over a year back then. And basically the reason that these hauls have built up like this is because perfume cannot easily leave England. England does not allow somebody like Rich to ship fragrances to me. So that was part 1, and lots of things had kind of built up, and what ended up happening is we had a brother in arms in the perfume world, a masked crusader who wants to remain anonymous, and I will respect his or her wishes, but truly a lifesaver. So thank you, my friend. You know exactly who you are, who hauled our fragrances, personally went over there, got them, put them in his luggage, and brought them back. And he did it a second time for us. Now, this haul is a little bit different because this haul includes things that I have to give a shout out, not just to Rich and not just to the Masked Crusader, but to Natalia, who, if you watched my channel long ago, she came up in many of the comments. Have not heard from her in a long time, but what she did was absolutely extraordinary for me. She made me make her kind of a list of things that I wanted, hard to find fragrances here in the United States, let's say. And she said they're readily available here in Poland and Europe. And she started buying stuff. Wouldn't take any money. This is a pure gift from her. She sent it to Rich. Rich basically worked as a courier. So Ram Duck is alive and well and sent it on my way thanks to our Masked Crusader. So many hands are in this pot. This is going to be a pretty large haul and a long video. So again, as I said in a previous video, if you don't like unboxing videos, you're a communist. You might be a communist if you don't like unboxing videos. So, you know, sit back, enjoy. I love these type of content because it gives you an idea of the stuff that I'm kind of going for, the stuff that you'll be hearing about in the channel in the future, and just a great way to talk about a lot of fragrances at once. But first, before we do the haul, I do want to talk about my scent of the day just real quick, because today I wore Loewe 001 Man, which actually, this is the eau de parfum version, and you can see I've been loving this fragrance. For a designer, this is really good stuff. It's almost like Loewe's take on Dior Homme, but it's a woodier kind of version of Dior Homme. And the reason I wore it today is because yesterday I reviewed a fragrance from Les Indemodables called Iris Pearl. And that's a iris fragrance that uses very high quality materials, but it doesn't kind of click for me. And I talked about how there was this peeled carrot note in the top of it. And 001 Man actually uses carrot seed to recreate this sort of, I would say, iris type vibe, but it's mixed with ambrette. So it really gives this Dior Homme vibe with the iris and ambrette combination. And it's beautiful. It's like a woodier take on Dior Homme. There's a little bit of spices in the top that are slightly, I would say, designer feeling. If you smelled some of the Fendi designer fragrances for men, which I'm forgetting the name, I could grab the bottle, but basically looks like this. Fan de Fendi is what it's called, excuse me. But if you smelled Fan de Fendi, or if you've smelled, you know, something like Declaration by Cartier, that woody, designer woodiness, there's some of that mixed in here with the cardamom and all that stuff, but it's a really good designer. I think it's a good take on a designer. So I really enjoyed wearing 001 Man. Okay, so let's do the unboxing, but first, before we get into the stuff from Rich Mitch and my good friend Natalia, which wherever you are, Natalia, I hope you are well. I hope you are climbing the highest mountain and enjoying yourself, my dear. So, this is a fragrance that a brand that I know nothing about reached out to me, and I gave them the usual RAM disclosure. I do positive and I do negative reviews, and they said, hey, we want to send you a bottle. And I said, bring it on, but I'm going to give my honest opinion. And I looked over their site and I said, hey, by the way, I noticed that you guys have a like a niche type line on there. Is there a way you can send me the sample set from the niche line? And they said, sorry, the bottle's already been shipped. And I was like, okay, whatever. I think the niche line would have been much more to my taste from just looking at this, but they were adamant that this is all they're going to send me, so this is all I'm going to talk about. The brand is called Gisada. They're a Swiss-based brand, from my understanding. And this fragrance is called Titanium. So this is their new fragrance from 2024. Apparently the face of the brand is boxing world champion Anthony Joshua. No clue. But my worry with this is that it's going to smell something like Ultra Mall or something like that. It's going to be a sweet designer mess, but we will see. I think it retails for something like $100 or somewhere around there, 100 to 150 for 100 mils, if memory serves. They did have that exclusive line that ranged, I think, between 300, give or take. So I would be interested in smelling some of those, but a house I've never smelled before, I know nothing about, other than I see it pop up as kind of like a influencer type brand. So we'll see. It could be an absolute bashing, or it could be a meh, it's okay, or it could be a thumbs up, but my guess is, just from seeing what it's compared to Armani's Code Profumo on Parfumo. So we'll see if there's any, I don't know anything about that fragrance, but we'll see if there's some truth to that designer-like feel. So this is, again, Gisada's Titanium. So you'll be hearing about this on the channel. It's sage, cardamom, pink pepper, artemisia, cinnamon, cedarwood, lavender, leather, sandalwood, tonka bean, vanilla, fir balsam, iris, and patchouli. No clue who the perfumer is, and the thing that scares me the most is the #1 accord listed on Parfumo is sweet. So we'll see. Okay, so that is Titanium, courtesy of Gisada. So thank you, or damn you, either way, we'll see how it goes. But okay, so let's get on to the real unboxing. So there are three packages. I'm going to start with this long, this big long one, because I think the samples are in here. And it is very well packaged. So you are going to have to see me cut into this packaging. And that's just how it's going to go. And if you don't want to see me cut into the packaging, then fast forward, because we are cutting into this damn packaging. So here we go. Okay, so the first, oh, Rich, you're too kind, my friend. The sample set of Maitre Parfumeur Ardent. I'm actually very excited to get to sniff some of these. I haven't smelled any of them, and I know Rich Mitch absolutely raved about some of these. These were, oh man, what would you call these? These were kind of like the niche house of end of 23, 2024 to him. And I think he mentioned once that this was like something that they sent out to people of the press, like maybe someone like Persolaise, to write articles, that you can't buy this sample set. So I think these are the older versions, but I'm very excited to get to smell all of these, because it's a house, honestly, I am vastly lacking knowledge in. So the ones that I was most excited about was the Myrrhe Ardent and Bois de Turkey, which he absolutely raved about. So yeah, Santal Noble was another one. Apparently that's meant to be a beautiful sandalwood. So Santal Noble, Root de Vetiver, which I actually have a little bit at the bottom of a bottle of Root de Vetiver, Jardin du Nil. Apparently these are supposed to be very well made. Eau de Isles. Here we go. Bois de Turkey, one of the big hitters. Bois de Turkey, very interesting. Ombre Perceau, which I have a decant of somewhere. And I think there should be a Myrrhe Ardent here. I'll have to keep looking. Maybe he sent a separate sample of it. He absolutely raved about Myrrhe Ardent. So yes, very excited to get to know this brand. So thank you, Rich. That is absolutely awesome. You know, I love stuff like this, and that'll give me content for a long time, because I'm going to review these bad boys. Look at the booklet that comes with it. Very cool. They should definitely do something like this again. I think this would, you know, all these perfume houses nowadays, they want you to buy their 100 ml bottles, but sometimes as a frag head, something like 10 mils, I'm guessing these are 10 mils. Something like these 10 mils, that would be perfect. You know, this is a lot of juice. If this is what I've often said, and Rich and I kind of talked in unison about this years ago, but I haven't harped on it in a while. You don't need a full 100 ml bottle as a quote unquote reviewer. I mean, could it be cool to show the packaging and stuff? Yes, but if you can't do a review off of 10 mils, you don't deserve to be on YouTube. If you need a full bottle, you don't deserve to be on YouTube. 5 or 10 mils is more than enough to make up your mind on a fragrance. So that's awesome, Rich. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into these. These are well packed. They are densely packed. Okay, let's see what we have here. Some of these I'm very, very excited about. This haul has been a long, long time coming. Okay, so let's start with a niche brand. Let's start with Nishane. So Nishane is a house that I actually rate. I must admit, I rate the house. I have reviewed maybe a couple from the house on the channel, Sultan Vetiver and a couple others, and there will be more to come because I still have Fan Your Flames and Ani, which I'll probably bash, but I do have more Ani, fragrances from Nishane coming, but this one is discontinued, and it's actually really hard to find. And Natalia very kindly found this for me, and this one's called Spice Bazaar. So this is one of the older Nishanes, and Spice Bazaar, I heard a couple people really raving about. I think Sebastian was one of the folks who really liked this fragrance back in the day. He's kind of one of the old-timey reviewers. So, you know, a fragrance like this would be something he would know about. But Spice Bazaar came out 10 years ago in 2014, and it was perfumed by George Lee. I assume it's George, not Jorge, but George Lee. And it is a spicy oriental with yuzu, ginger, rosemary, and juniper in the top. And the heart of cumin, cedarwood, and cinnamon, and the base of black pepper, saffron, and vanilla. And here is the drawing, I guess, of what Nishane imagines Spice Bazaar is like. Literally a bazaar of spices. They always do a little postcard with their fragrances. So yes, I rate the house of Nishane. I'm actually a fan of some of their work. So there will be some more reviews of Nishane on the channel as time goes on. And Spice Bazaar, let's see. Wow, I wonder. Okay. So I can already see this is a older style bottle simply by the packaging and the cap. This is not Nishane's cap anymore. They have upgraded their cap drastically. This is a much lighter cap. So yes, I don't think this has actually ever been sprayed. I thought this was a partial, but this is brand new. So that's awesome. Exciting stuff. Spice Bazaar by George Lee from 2014. First comment on Parfumo, the most artistic Nishane. So awesome. Very exciting stuff. And sometimes the most artistic and the stuff that frag heads like us would love the best is the very first thing to get whacked from, you know, the lineup for whatever reason. So that is awesome. Excited for Spice Bazaar. Okay, next on the list we have a very hard to find discontinued vintage fragrance, which I am in love with. I need to do a Vintage Hall of Fame review on this one of these days, but I always feel like I'm not going to do it justice because this fragrance is one of the best. I mean, I think it's go watch my family portrait of Dior and go see how high this made it in the ranking, the ranked version of Dior. I think this is one of the, if not the greatest Dior, at least for my taste. This is my favorite Dior. Especially from their designer line, and it's Jules, or Jules as you should properly say it. The S is supposed to just dissolve in your mouth, Jules. But this is a vintage splash, I believe, and this is created by, I think, one of the greatest masculine perfumers of all time. And his name is Jean Martel. And Jean Martel created this and he created Paco Rabanne pour Homme, and then he just disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, he created Paco Rabanne pour Homme in 73, and then he created Jules in 1980. 1980. Apparently you can still buy it, but from what I've heard, it has been emasculated. It's lost what made it Jules. It lost a lot of its tough animalic kind of leather in the base, that suede leather with dirty cumin, and it's very green smelling. So the tarragon makes it, tarragon and basil I think kind of team up to make it very green. And I mean, this could easily be a signature scent for me. This is absolute masculine perfection as far as I'm concerned. Parfums Christian Dior. I mean, I love this stuff. I mean, like I said, go watch my countdown for Dior, but I love the advertisement. Apparently, jour is meant to mean like womanizer or pimp or something like that. You know, could you imagine them putting out a fragrance like this with a name like this nowadays, if that's actually what it means? Leathery, animalic, very of its time, very 80s. As a vintage ram, I strongly approve of Jules, one of the greatest masculines ever released. I mean, this competes with things like Antaeus and Courreges and Paco Rabanne pour Homme and just the all-time great masculine fragrances. So Jules by Christian Dior, and that is a backup bottle. So excited to have that. I feel like I can wear my other one now a little bit more. Okay, next on the list we have some of the decants. So here is the decants. And so we have, Rich very kindly asked me if there was anything from his collection I wanted to smell. And indeed there was. So one is called Courreges pour Homme, or Courreges Homme, I should say, a very underrated house. And Courreges Homme was created by, I believe, the great Gerard Anthony, if I'm not mistaken. C-O-U-R-R. Courreges Homme, and I think it came out in the 70s even. Courreges Homme, yeah, 1977. Gerard Anthony, it was a Gerard Anthony. So it's Artemisia, basil, bergamot, lemon, patchouli, sandalwood, vetiver, jasmine, ambergris, leather, and moss. You know, from the atomizer, there's definitely something very similar to this. Maybe, what am I thinking? Maybe like green leathers. I mean, Jules could be an example, but the one I was thinking of was, I gotta pull it out. It is Macassar. From the atomizer, Macassar is what kind of comes to mind. I wish I had a vintage bottle of this, but yes. So Courreges Homme, I'll definitely do like a early impression video on that bad boy. Okay, next on the list we have Iris Nazarena. This is another one that Rich has been going on and on about that I just never got a chance to smell. And I believe Natalia from Poland gifted him a bottle of this. And so this very well may have even come from the bottle that she gifted him. So very generous. The fragrance community never ceases to amaze me with the generosity. So thank you. Very, very kind. So that is Iris Nazarena, which actually, that's another brand that I'm very lacking on, Aedes de Venustas. And that's what I was saying in one of my previous videos. As a frag head, you never run out of stuff to explore, ever. You just kind of go in different parts of the fragrance library, if you will, the well of fragrances, and your journey and where you go. You know, some people start at the designers and they start with the Sauvages, and then they go to the niche, and they go to Xerjoff, and they go to Parfum de Marly, and then maybe they go to vintage. Some people start with vintage and then they go, you know, it's just how your path travels through this well of fragrances. Everyone is different. No one's collection is exactly the same, what you choose to go for and stuff like that. But as far as exploring new stuff, never ends. It's literally a never-ending well. So Aedes de Venustas was created by Ralph Schwieger, who I actually really rate as a perfumer. He did Lipstick Rose by Frederic Malle, which is one of the most sensual, amazing scents I've ever smelled. Lipstick Rose is literally like kissing a beautiful woman. It is with deep red lipstick. It's fantastic, the cosmetic side of it. So Iris Nazarena is iris, ambrette, juniper berry, star anise, clove, oud, rose, frankincense, patchouli, and vetiver. So that's awesome. Thank you, Rich. And then we've got Nexin, which is Tower's kind of limited release. I forget how many bottles he did of Nexin, but when I heard about Nexin originally, I was like, I don't know, you know, a fresh Tower limited release. I think it was maybe like 1,000 bottles or something for the whole world that they did. Orange blossom, ambergris, bergamot, lemon blossom, orris root, vetiver, musk, oak moss, sandalwood, cedar, geranium, rose, and tonka bean. And but since then, I have reviewed a fragrance from him called L'air des Alpes Suisses, basically the air over the Swiss Alps. You can find the review on my channel. There's a Tower playlist you can go check out. And I was very impressed by his ability to make a fresh fragrance interesting. So I'm really excited to try Nexin. And then we have another Courreges fragrance, which is called FH77. This is actually a really underrated house. And I think FH77 came out in 77, believe it or not. And it did. It is, I don't know who the perfumer is. The bottle is fantastic. Go watch Rich Mitch did an unboxing of FH77. This came from Armando in Italy, the same guy that I got my Cuir de Russie by Chanel. There's an unboxing of my Cuir de Russie, my 60s or 7, I forget which decade it comes from, but it's old. It's Eau de Cologne. From Italy. And the gentleman basically said, I'm going out of business, I'm selling all my stock and doing something else, basically. So he sold him at a respectable discount. And I think Rich Mitch just picked up a bottle of this maybe a couple months ago. So it's Virginia cedar, musk, oak moss, tobacco, vetiver, and citrus notes. So very excited to get to know some of these Courreges fragrances. And then, as I knock all of these over, we have this little bad boy, which is Mahogany. So this is Mahogany by Etro, and Mahogany came out in 2004. It's Australian sandalwood, Indonesian patchouli, Haitian vetiver, and Italian lemon. And you talk about an underrated house. Etro may be the underrated house, especially those older Etros. My God. Rumor is that Etro is now allowing, I forget, maybe Coty to distribute their fragrances or something like that. Something where you're like, oh no. L'Oreal or Coty or something along those lines. But Mahogany apparently is discontinued, unfortunately. And finally, the last one is the one that I was harping on about with the sample set, is Myrrhe Ardent. So here it is, Myrrhe Ardent from 2007. This is like the 2007. This is like the Myrrhe of the year. This fragrance apparently was so good that it almost made myrrhe like the ingredient of the year for 23 for the fall and winter 23-24 season. Resinous woody myrrhe, beeswax, gaiac wood, myrrhe, benzoin, and tonka bean. Isabelle Doyen and Camille Goutal are the perfumers. So very excited to smell that. And rumor is it's discontinued. So that is a shocker. But thank you very much for the decants, mate. And then we have this little bad boy. So this is a partial. It's also a house that has a new fragrance coming out this year called Epona. And I cannot wait to talk about that Epona sample. But this is Dryad. And Dryad, I have a review from the house of Papillon. Liz Moore's also agreed to come back on the channel and do a part 2 interview, which I cannot wait. But this is, oh my God. I mean, if you love old school vintage green Chypres, like if you like, for example, something like Givenchy 3, which is an absolute all-time great Chypre in my opinion, takes a lot of green and animalic notes and kind of combines it in an amazing complex fashion, if you like Chanel number 19, if you like these sort of green fragrances, Dryad takes some of those vintage kind of touches and adds some animalic notes to them. So a lot of green resinous galbanum with things like castoreum and civet. I mean, there's iris in here. There's costus. So it's slightly dirty. It's but there's so much going on. I mean, if you're a green fan, especially if you're a green Chypre fan, Dryad is a must sniff. One of the best modern green Chypres I've ever smelled. There's a little bit of Bandit in here, like the animalics smell like you took number 19 with Givenchy 3 on the green side and mixed in Robert Piguet's Bandit. The leather just feels kind of that kind of butch animalic leather, castoreum. Amazing fragrance. Liz Moore's is, I think, just an absolute magician, and Dryad is awesome. So Dryad added to the full bottle list. My collection of Papillon grows. And then we have this little bad boy. Well, Rich Mitch taking the piss with YSL Y Elixir. At least it doesn't say Y Live on there. But YSL Y Elixir. I better add that to the decant. YSL Y Elixir. L'Elixir, excuse me. Right now, or else I'll forget it, and I probably will never talk about it anyways, but that's a 2024 release. That's my chance to talk about a new fragrance by L'Oreal. Frankincense, Moroccan Geranium, Oud, and White Lavender by Dominique Ropion. Okay. Making new ground. Oh, yes, baby. You are finally home. I missed you. I missed you, my love. This is a vintage Palais Royal version of Serge Lutens Vetiver Oriental. Oh man, I've been waiting and waiting on. This is one of those that I've just been patiently waiting. And so Vetiver Oriental, very nice. They put the tape on it. Thank you, my friend. Cannot have spillage. No spillage allowed. So Vetiver Oriental is sort of maybe you could call it a little bit of a gourmand take on Vetiver, because I think there's meant to be sort of a slightly chocolatey take on Vetiver. It's 2004 release. Christopher Sheldrake, of course, is the perfumer. Vetiver, chocolate, labdanum, iris, musk, amber, gaiac wood, moss, plant juice, sandalwood, and underwood is according to Parfumo. It seems like Parfumo adds plant juice to the note listing a lot with Uncle Serge, but I'm very happy to have that. Always happy to have a Serge added to the collection, especially when it's a vintage Palais Royal bottle. So yes, good stuff. Spicy, woody, apparently. And I've been loving Vetiver's perfect for this time of year in Texas. It rains a lot in the spring. Sometimes we get a lot of thunderstorms, but it has that humid, hot, and then it cools off with the storm feeling. There's actually some storms rolling in tonight. So Vetiver for this type of climate is just perfect here in Texas for the spring. So excited, very excited to have that. Okay, next on the list we have a Artisan Parfumeur, which has been a long time coming on the list, because this is our good friend, let me just verify it actually is. Yes, it is. It's Bertrand Duchefort. I just wanted to make sure. So Bertrand Duchefort made this bad boy, and it is discontinued. So it's supposed to be a sweet gourmand fragrance, but I hear this is one of the most unique sweet gourmand fragrances money can buy. It's unopened, and it is Traversée de Bosphore. So Traversée de Bosphore. So let's open this bad boy, because perfume is meant to be opened and worn. And actually, I am so interested. We're gonna spray this, because why the hell not? So they use words like fluffy, gourmand. It's got some crazy notes in it, and only Bertrand Duchefort can do something Look at the color of that juice, man. That is just radiant. That just pops on the screen, doesn't it? I love these old Artisan bottles. Okay. Oh, wow. This is very interesting from Bertrand Duchefort. Fruity, but it has this soft, like supple leather underneath. You know what it reminded me instantly first sniff is like a early iteration of Gallo by Hermes, because Gallo has this fruity sort of leather thing going on. And Traversée de Bosphore does something very similar with apple and pomegranate in the top. But this very refined, gentle. This is not a leather like the butch leather I was telling you about in Dryad. This is the exact opposite of that. This is like the soft, supple, like you would just imagine this is what the leather of an $80,000 Hermes handbag feels like, you know, which obviously I've never felt one, but I can just imagine the quality of leather, right? Yeah, there is something to this Gallo comparison. Gallo's like a Hermes version of Traversée de Bosphore. Very interesting. I'm telling you, I mean, Bertrand Duchefort was so ahead of his time. This was 2010. And yeah, I mean, the refinement, the powdery refinement of iris is kind of coming through now. The saffron, I mean, the red color almost might be from the saffron ingredient, but the saffron is in here, adding its slightly modern Middle Eastern style twist to it, but there's no oud. So yeah, Bertrand Duchefort, man, I'm telling you, that guy, his stuff is, when he's on, I mean, pomegranate in general, you know, he did this with some L'Artisans, like he did it with Timbuktu, where he added that weird green mango, right? And he did it with Zonka, where he added that weird lychee note, which is a note that came up in my Maxim Perfumes live stream, which I recently did. Maxim is the son of Dmitry Bortnikov. It's Maxim Bortnikov, and we did a live stream on his 3 new fragrances, and lychee was one ingredient in one of his fragrances. And Bertrand Duchefort used it brilliantly in Zonka, and he used that very strange, interesting green mango in Timbuktu. He used blackberry, very interesting, in Jubilation 25 for Men, which I have a comparison between that and the Jubilation 40 exceptional extra version. And here we have pomegranate in the top with this locum note, and tulip, again, a very interesting rare flower. You don't see tulip used very often. So yeah, this is, even though this is sweet, this is the kind of sweet fragrance I can get behind, because there's something underneath, you know, that leather underneath with the cedar and benzoin and musk. This is the kind of sweet that I can stand behind. The modern sweet where they just use just a shit ton of synthetic materials that just feel like a bomb of sweetness, I just cannot do it, which I fear this is what this is going to be, or what this is going to be. Well, this probably will be just more of a blue fragrance, I guess, with oud, with their take on oud. This is the sweet one I'm worried about, but we'll see. So yes, this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So happy to have this. Can't believe Natalia, man. What a magician. Okay, so Traversée de Bosphore, and then we have one more in this box, and then one more box to go. So this is another L'Artisan, and this is another one that I think is Bertrand Duchefort, but let me just double check. Noir Exquis. 2015, so 5 years after. Yeah, it's still available, and it is Bertrand Duchefort as well. This is the one that's much sweeter. This is the one that I heard reminds some people of the Clive Christian that I have, that I talked about, that uses that sweet maple note in the top. Let me just get it so I can just show you. Too many names. Too many names to remember. So this is E Gourmand Oriental, I believe. This was also a gift from, I believe A2 sent this to me. I can't remember. Someone very kindly sent this to me. So, Oriental Gourmand. This is the one with that maple, that strong maple type feel. And Noir Exquis is supposed to have, I think, a little bit of that marron glaze with walnut in the top, and Brazilian coffee. Maybe that's where the association with syrup comes in. There is maple syrup as well in this, by the way, so there actually is a syrup note. And yeah, this really does feel like a early version of the Clive Christian. I think the Clive Christian came after 2015. There's Macassar wood, Indian sandalwood, vanilla, heliotrope, and tonka bean in the base. So this is a much sweeter gourmand. I think I much prefer Traversée de Bosphore. Much prefer it. But I mean, there's a place for this. If you like stuff like, I guess, Bond Number 9, New Harlem, or that kind of thing, you very well may like Noir Exquis. And L'Artisan doesn't do bad fragrances. You know, you don't get a big hit of amber woods. At least I don't get a big hit of amber woods, I should say. Yeah, I mean, L'Artisan, they're a classy brand. They're one of the better niche brands. And then finally, we have this little bad boy, which I think was something that she said she was just gonna throw in, even though I didn't ask for it, because she said she wanted me to smell it. This is called Donna Karan Black Cashmere. Is anyone familiar with this? It's like one of those pebble bottles, like the Comme des Garçons. Like, they don't really go anywhere easily. But Donna Karan Black Cashmere. Donna Karan Black Cashmere. Okay. 2002 release, released for women. It's a spicy oriental by Rodrigo Flores Rue. Interesting. Frankincense, nutmeg, saffron, clove, white pepper, rose, African wenchwood. There's a new one. Amber, Ethiopian frankincense, vanilla, and patchouli. Interesting. I think this is going to turn out to be good, actually. Just from smelling the atomizer, that is, I would say that's promising. Yeah, I would say it's very promising. Okay, good stuff. She had a recommendation, and I trust her, so that's awesome. And I think it's discontinued as well. Of course it is. So Black Cashmere. Okay, so that takes care of that box. And then, by the way, while I'm opening this next one, I have to say that one of the reasons why you probably won't see this type of haul from me again is I feel like I've kind of hit, I don't want to say critical mass, but I feel like there's so many fragrances I want to talk about already. And so I would rather, you know, once the divorce is finalized, I would rather kind of save up and splurge on something amazing, like a vintage Eagle bottle of, you know, something like Derby by Guerlain or Guerlain Cuir de Russie, or these, you know, hard, extremely rare, hard to find pieces, rather than do these big, huge hauls, right? That's kind of my thought process right now. And honestly, if I never had another perfume bottle ever in my collection, I would be set for life. As long as it doesn't get stolen from me, I would be set for life. And so, you know, I'm kind of at this part where I can use samples and stuff like that to do videos, and you know, I can do a video off of a 2 ml sample. That's why I was saying you don't need a whole bottle. 5 to 10 mils is more than enough. 2 mils is probably enough, at least for you to get to know it and give your first impression. So there's a ton of content to do without, especially not these huge hauls, right? So I think I'm just in this spot where, for me, the haul may become a little bit extinct. Doesn't mean I won't buy anything ever again, but I think you'll probably find me much more selective. Okay, so next on the list we have, okay, so this is actually a gift. This is a gift from Liz Moores, because Liz Moores said, Ramsey, I would like to send you a bottle, but I can't ship it to you easily. I said, send it to my brother, Rich Mitch. He's actually got some guy coming to be a mule very, very soon. And so that's exactly what happened. She shipped it to him just in time. And it is Hera. And the reason she sent me Hera is because she knows I love it. There's the note listing on the back. Hera is a very interesting fragrance because it was created for her daughter's wedding, okay? So this was created for, obviously it's a feminine targeted fragrance. It was created for a woman, and it's a wedding fragrance. So you would think it may be hard for a man to wear. It's not. It's actually completely, totally unisex. And I think that Hera is one of the, I would say one of the best ambrette notes I've ever smelled, ever, in perfume. So ambrette is like a, they've changed the packaging. Look, let me show you guys. So they've changed the packaging. This is the first time I'm holding this new packaging. I knew about the packaging change, but I've never actually held it. So here is the new bottle, and here's the older bottles. So I think it's just the cap, is it? Yeah, I think it's just the cap. Hera's bottle was always kind of embossed in gold compared to the other black writing. But ambrette is a plant-based musk. And I mean, this is so, if you like Dior Homme, well, go check out my review of Hera. I did a review off of a sample, and I love this stuff. It is, man, it is unbelievable. So that is Hera from Papillon. Okay. Next on the list, we have a long time coming. This is from the house of MDCI. Another Bertrand Duchefort. Actually, my very first full bottle from MDCI. And this is what I would consider to be one of Bertrand Duchefort's greatest works. It is Chypre Palatin. So Chypre Palatin is, you can see, I think this is a tester with the notes on the back. So this is galbanum, cistus, hyacinth, mandarin orange, lavender, thyme, plum, rose, gardenia, iris, jasmine, benzoin, styrax, tolu balsam, immortelle, leather, oak moss, vanilla absolute, and castoreum. It is a true oriental Chypre combination. If you've smelled old school orientals like Taboo by Dana or stuff like that, you'll kind of be somewhat in the ballpark. You know, if you've smelled things like Roches Femme, I mean, that is a old school Chypre oriental merger from the 1940s. You'll kind of smell the grandmother of this bad boy. And it is, I mean, just something to behold. It has everything you could ask for in this kind of blend together with Bertrand Duchefort's kind of ingenuity in using these amazing notes. Just fantastic, slightly animalic, and just so unbelievably realistic. You know, when I smell the flowers in this, it's literally like standing in a garden and smelling hyacinth and smelling rose and smelling gardenia and jasmine. And I don't know how he did it. Honestly, I have no clue how he did it to make it so realistic. So MDCI's Chypre Palatin, that is a long time coming review, because I have a pretty big decant of that. Okay, two more. Next on the list we have, so a fragrance that I recently reviewed, and Rich Mitch, I gave Rich Mitch the opportunity to use in his comparison video of, I think it was called Rive d'Ambre or something like that. I can never remember the damn name, but it's MFK's newer fragrance, and it's supposed to be a version of this little bad boy. And so this is Ciel de Gum, and you can see there it is based on the Gum department store in Russia. There's the seal right there. So they discontinued this, And then he put out his new one, which I have to see what it's called now. Hang on. Maison Francis Kirk Dion. Captain Kirk. It's called Reflets d'Ambre. I always want to say Reflets d'Ambre is what it's called. So Rich Mitch did a review, if you will. He said that Reflets d'Ambre is like a much thinner, lighter version of Ciel de Gomme. Ciel de Gomme is sort of vintage MFK, and so very happy to have every little bit of juice from Ciel de Gomme is precious. I think this is an amazing sort of jasmine amber, and go watch my review. I did like an initial impression off of a decant, and then I did like a full review off of from Ciel de Gomme, and you know, the pink pepper, the amber in here. Very nice. Very, very nice. Much better than Grand Soir, whatever the other amber everyone goes crazy for, which I don't like. I've got a sample of, I'll review it one of these days. So Ciel de Gomme. And then finally, maybe one of the hardest flankers to track down ever in history. This thing is a ghost. And Rich Mitch found one, grabbed it for me out of the kindness of his heart, and I have been so excited to smell this. If you follow my channel, you know in 2023 I discovered what I would consider to be one of the most underrated, one of the best niche, or one of the best vintage fragrances that I've ever come across in my journey. And it is called Hashish Homme, okay? So Hashish Homme is also a ghost, impossible to find in the eau de toilette. You may be able to find like a aftershave if you're lucky, but it is, my God, man. I'll do a full review, but the spices in there are unbelievable. And so this is a flanker of Hashish Homme, and it is called Hashish Black. Hashish Black. Almost nothing is known of this fragrance. There's a sort of spot for it in Parfumo, but there's no notes. And look at that. It's like the Darth Vader version of Hashish Homme. Oh, baby. Yes. I mean, I can't wait. I cannot wait to... Actually, both of these need to be reviewed. They need to be discussed and reviewed because, man, as far as vintage content goes, these are stunners. So that's my long lost haul part 2. I'll try to put all these in the comments. I mean, a big thank you, a big shout out to Rich and Natalia and the Masked Crusader for making this happen. Could not have happened without everybody. So more content to discuss on the channel, more amazing fragrances to get to, and their gifts, which is the best part of all of it. So thank you, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your favorites are and what you're most excited to hear me talk about in the comments. So cheers, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.